Reporter, Breitbart.com reporter says that she has filed charges against Trump's campaign manager, alleging that he grabbed her and bruised her while she was attempting to ask a question earlier this week. The campaign manager, Corey Lewandowski, denies the charges. I want to bring in now Kurt Bardella, who resigned as spokesperson for Breitbart today in the wake of the incident. Kurt, it's good to have you here. So let's talk about this in the context of the violence at Donald Trump's rallies tonight and beyond, and the charges filed by Michelle Fields. Your resignation is a shocker. What led you to quit?
Well, you know, Don, I think that when you get to a point where you 100% support who you're representing, the right thing to do is to step aside and inform them that you can no longer represent them. And that's what I did. I reached this conclusion after watching over the last few days how this has unfolded. I personally felt that Breitbart hadn't adequately supported Michelle Fields, one of their own reporters, through this whole ordeal. And at the end of the day, you have to be able to live with yourself. And seeing how this was going, how this was unfolding, I just felt it was right to step down and move on.
Why can't you 100% support your former employee?
Well, you know, I just disagree with the course of which they've been covering this and how they've treated Michelle. I think that they've been looking for a reason to disprove something when all the evidence from a Washington Post reporter's firsthand account to the bruises on Michelle's arm to all the photos and video clips that we've seen strongly suggests that Corey Lewandowski, Donald Trump's campaign manager, was the one who did this. And there's no reason to never support your own reporter.
You're saying they're lying?
Yes, I am.
All right. And you're saying they're lying. Have they lied all along about certain things, to your estimation?
I think that as this unfolded, you know, in the immediate aftermath, I don't think anyone knew all of the details of what happened. It was obviously a very chaotic, emotional situation. People are in different locations. But I think that as it progressed and as the evidence became more clear, there seemed to be resistance from Breitbart in supporting Michelle. And it's just something I just couldn't understand. I certainly don't agree with it. And again, I think for me, the right thing to do was to try to extricate myself from a situation that I just didn't feel comfortable with anymore.
Mr. Bardella, why would they not support her and support the Trump version of the story?
Well, I think that anyone who's watched Breitbart coverage, who reads the site every day, it's very clear, and they haven't hidden this at all, but they've been very supportive of the Trump campaign. And I think that there is a desire to want to believe the Trump campaign and believe the statement that Corey and Donald Trump have put out. Because I think that they've when you've gone all in so much for a candidate, when you have that kind of skin in the game, you don't want to see that derailed.
They're in the tank,
human nature. I think it's been very obvious from their coverage, and again, I don't think they've hidden that, or they would dispute that they're very much pro-Trump. Which is, personally also something that I have an issue with. I'm not pro-Trump. I think that Donald Trump has been a destructive force in the political and public rhetoric. The discourse of the conversation surrounding the presidential campaign has deteriorated. We're seeing violence, and it's not just an isolated incident. It's a pattern of behavior. And not whether it's a reporter, whether it's just a spectator, whether it's a supporter or an opposition, nobody is safe. And at what point does someone draw the line and say enough is enough and take responsibility for that? You had Donald Trump on not that long ago. He doesn't take responsibility from it, and it's completely unbecoming of someone who wants to be the president of the United States. And it just has to stop. It is ridiculous, absurd, and it's dangerous.
You're a conservative?
I'm a Republican.
You're a Republican. And you're saying this about the person who is likely to be your nominee?
Donald Trump makes me embarrassed to say that I'm a Republican, and I know a lot of people who don't feel this way. He is not representative or indicative of how a lot of Republicans feel. I think that what he's done is seized on a real uncertain moment in this country where there's a lot of anger directed at Washington. People feel that Washington has abandoned them, and like any great propagandist, he's seized on that fear and that emotion and has propped himself up using outrageous rhetoric, dangerous tactics, and unfortunately, there are people who are aligning with that. Yeah. But I think overall in this country, the majority of people and Americans do not believe that this is the right course for our country.
I think that's the first time that I've ever been speechless on television, because usually when I ask people a direct question, they don't answer directly. Are they lying? You said yes. I'm like, where do I go from there? He answered honestly. Thank you, Kurt Bardella.
Thanks for having me on.
Good luck to you.
Appreciate it.
We come right back.